Hi everyone, my name is Roberto Valenzuela. I'm a Canon Explorer of Light, and I'm a fashion, beauty, and wedding photographer based in the city of Los Angeles, California. So today we have a really cool video with Canon's YouTube channel, and it has to do with what treasures, what delicious treats lie within this ginormous camera bag. I'm sure this keeps you up at night. You're probably wondering all day what's inside Roberto's bag, and today is the day that I answer that question. So we're gonna make this happen. I'm gonna talk about what I choose to bring to my jobs and why I bring those things to my jobs. So let's jump right into it. Let's get in with the cameras first. Let's start with that because that's probably what people wanna see first. My new cameras are the Canon R5s. These cameras are special to me, not only because I was one of the lucky photographers that got to shoot the campaign for these cameras for the whole world, but also because they're amazing. Like, this changes the game. For example, this has a flip screen all the way around, and the autofocus technology on this with the face tracking and the eye tracking and the image stabilizing and everything that this camera has allows me to do things I couldn't do before. For example, I could put a fashion model on the floor and I can get like a bird eye perspective. And because this has a screen that I can rotate, I can literally change the angle and see exactly what's happening. And then I can also rely on the eye tracking and the face tracking and all this to make sure that it is stacked sharp on her eye or his eye, and I don't have to worry about it. It also allows me to shoot from a lower angle. It's got a crazy fast frames per second. You know, we all know what mirrorless does. So I'm totally into it now. I'm sold 100%. I've been sold since they started, but I cannot tell you how much I love shooting with the R5. Now, if you have a Canon R, R5, or R6, you obviously have to have, this is like the lens workhorse. So this is the Canon RF7200 2.8 LIS USM. So this is the portrait lens. This is what most people use for portraits. This is just absolutely essential part of your kit. I can't imagine being a portrait photographer of any kind and not have a 70-200. So that guy is very special. But the most special lens I could possibly tell you about is this puppy right here. And I always say that I have three loves in my life: my wife, my children, and this lens. This is the Canon, let me make sure I read this properly. This is the Canon RF2870 f2L USM. This is a beast of a lens. This range is unbelievable. The 28 millimeters all the way to 70 millimeters, and having the whole range at 2.0 is like, why would you even take this lens out of the camera? You wouldn't, which is why this lens stays on my fixed camera most of the time. If you don't have this lens, you definitely want to put that in your top priority list. I would even get that lens before I would get the 70-200, just to kind of give you an idea. The next one that I love is my group lens. This is my group lens. This is the Canon RF 24105 f4L IS USM. This lens is my lens that I use for portraits of many people. So if I'm shooting groups, I like having this lens. It is image stabilized. It starts at f4, so less chances of somebody in the background being blurry because I made a mistake on the aperture. And it's just a solid, pretty lightweight lens, and it's just a really great choice for photographing multiple people. So anytime there's more than 3 or 4, I pull out that lens. However, this little guy is like a little scorpion, like a little baby scorpion. This guy doesn't even know how dangerous it is, okay? This will sting you, okay? It's like, pew, pew, okay, right in the arm. This is little, but lethal. It packs a punch because this guy, as little and lightweight as it is a 35 millimeter 1.8 macro IS STM, and this lens is image stabilized. It's got a great 35 millimeters, a great focal length for most applications for real life, like the way your eye kind of sees. And it's so little that you can take this camera not only on jobs, but also you can take this on vacation, for family vacations or whatever you want to do, and you don't have to worry about the weight. So to me, this is a precious lens to have, and I think everyone should have one of these little guys. Next, I want to talk about a very special little camera that I really enjoy having, and that is the Canon EOS M50 Mark II. This guy right here is my behind the scenes camera. It's so little. It's basically like a little mini R5, okay, or a mini R6. It has a flip screen, it's mirrorless, it can do eye tracking, face tracking, it does it all. So when you're shooting behind the scenes, this is so great. It doesn't weigh anything, so it's really easy to carry it all day. And the best part about it is you can actually change the lens, okay, change this lens, and then you can put this adapter. This is the Canon adapter EF-EOS-M adapter. So you put this on the camera, and now you can put any of your EF lenses on this little camera. So you could even put a 7200 on this and shoot away, and you have a tiny little body. So pretty amazing setup right here with this adapter and this camera. Okay, so let me put this lens back on. Okay, let's move on to some of the more specialty lenses. For example, I think everyone would agree, if you shoot portraits or people, you need to have an 85. This is the EF version. So this is the Canon EF 85mm 1.4 aperture LIS USM. This is sharp. This is amazing. It throws the background completely out of focus. So it's amazing if you have like something distracting in the background, or you just want a really shallow depth of field that looks very beautiful, especially like on 3/4 profile shots. Oh man, this is great. So the 85 is a winner for that. And then of course you have the, this is a beautiful lens. So this is one of the ones I use the most for portraits. This is actually the Canon 100 EF f2.8 LIS USM lens, okay? This is a macro lens. This is a 1:1 macro. It actually gives you a very cool look for portraits that the 85 doesn't, and the 7200 doesn't either. So it kind of gives you a different feel. And if you want something a little special on your portraits, try photographing them with a 100mm macro. And I know Canon just came out with the RF version, which I'm going to be getting for sure, because I love that lens. Let's talk about some of the more interesting, fun kind of lenses. For example, this guy. This guy's kind of a cray-cray lens. I mean, look at that thing. It just pops out. It's like explosion. Look at that. It's like, what is going on in there? Okay. This is the Canon EF 11-24 f4 L USM. This is an 11mm extreme wide angle lens that actually, when you put it on the camera, it doesn't have that much distortion. So it's kind of like extremely wide without much of that crazy fisheye distortion that you see on a fisheye lens. So if you want to really wow someone with like a fashion shoot or like a grand ballroom or something, you photograph that with this lens and it's game over. People will just be like, what's happening? And what's happening is you have an awesome lens. That's what's happening. So let's not confuse ourselves, okay? But if you want to be the big daddy on campus and you just want to rule the world, you bust out this big daddy right here. Boom. This guy. This sucker right here is when people start to show you some respect, okay? This is the Canon 200mm f2 LIS USM. Basically, they call it the beast, okay? And when you point this thing at someone, you don't even have to talk to them. You don't have to say hi. You don't have to say how what. Nobody. You will intimidate people with how much they will respect you with a crazy lens like this. It would just be like red carpet for you all the way through, and they're like, that guy's a professional. So that's the 200-20 EF, and as soon as Canon comes out with an RF version of this, I am going to be the first on the list, because this thing throws the background out of focus in such a way that it's hard to describe how beautiful it is. It's one of those beautiful things you experience in life. And last but definitely not least, I am a huge fan of using Speedlights, and that's because these Speedlights, because they're so small and portable, they allow you to totally transform any location. You can hide them, you can put them anywhere, you can have all these little modifiers for them. So they're very sneaky little lights with a lot of power to transform locations, change the mood, enhance natural light, and make your prints come alive with better lighting on your subjects. So I own 6 of these 600EX RT2s, and I also have this amazing brand new Canon super high-end Speedlights called the Canon EL-1. And these are brand new. These are 75 watts of power. They are super intelligent, super intuitive, and they are backwards compatible with the 600EX RT2s and some others. So I have 4 of these and 6 of the other flashes. If for any reason you have any questions at all, I love talking gear, so you just type a question on the comments, any question at all. Be like, hey, why do you have so many flashes? What's the point? Anything, like what is that 11 to 24 millimeter? What do you do with it? And I will try to respond to all of those questions because I love talking about gear. I'm a big fan of it, and it's just fun, so why not? Also, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to the Canon YouTube channel because they're putting out some amazing content out there and really doing a good job. So thank you for watching my What's in the Bag. Now your questions have been answered and you can again sleep at night. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.